Hi, thanks for joining us this week. We're coming from a new theater, the Stephanie Fury Theater. We gotta get it right at some point.
Let's keep going.
I'm Duke Pierce.
And I'm Oliver Boone.
And let's go to the movies.
So, who do we have today?
All right, we're joined today with Rashawn Matthews.
He's
hey,
very
Rashawn, how's it
hungry,
going?
I can see. How's the pizza?
What the hell? I said don't acknowledge the pizza.
Oh.
Wait, okay.
Are we live, though?
We're joined today by Rashawn Matthews. How's it going, Rashawn?
Pizza's okay.
What have you been up to? You're a graduate from the American Academy of Dramatic Arts,
Mm-hmm.
and you have been working a lot before COVID, right? You had been on auditions and everything.
Well, you got a new film that you're doing on Zoom, right? I think I saw a commercial for it.
I've done a few of them now.
Yeah. How is that?
It's been fine. I mean, it's a new platform.
All right, so our movie of the week is Pursuit of Happyness.
Great, thank you.
You really like this movie, right? Is it one of your favorites?
Oh, I love that movie.
Really?
Yeah. And anytime anyone ever asks me what your favorite movie is, that's the first one that pops in my head. I mean, it also kind of makes sense when you ask me to be here and ask me what movie. I was like, yep, let's do that one.
I'm glad I had a reason to watch it again. I haven't seen it since it came out when I was a little kid, and it really, it's just such a touching movie. And it's very like, I don't feel they would make that movie now, necessarily in the same way, because I think it gets like a little mixed reviews because it's a bit, I think it can be seen as like a little overly sentimental, but I kind of like that. You go to the movies to kind of. To go on that like it's like different from reality, even though it did happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right, absolutely.
A lot of it, yeah.
See, I can understand the over sentimental part. I mean, it's obviously you're telling the story of a life of a person. You cherry pick the parts that you want to make the audience feel a certain way.
Yeah.
So in that sense, they chose the part that will constantly make you sentimental. Also, there's a very interesting analysis that I saw about the movie, about the way the movie is structured, and it's like when a movie is written, usually you start from the beginning and you work towards where your character is, what is the journey, where is the peak of it, and then goes towards the end of the story or the journey.
Yeah. This
one was conceptualized from the end backward.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like the end is that he is overcoming all of these struggles and becoming a stockbroker.
Mm-hmm.
What is the struggles that he's going through, and how is that feeding the end? So as you work backwards, it's like you the end, you go one step behind, what is the immediate challenge that he faces, that he overcomes, you go another step behind, and then everything feeds towards that ending.
That's an interesting point, because you do you kind of know how it's going to end the entire time. Like, it's not really a surprise when he gets the job, but it's a sigh of relief. So the movie does a really good job of setting you up and building you up to that point, because you kind of have a feeling that's going to happen. I mean, it's a classic rags to riches film, and it's a classic structure.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's inventing anything new here, but it definitely does its job in building you up, and then that great exhale what's one of my favorite scenes of the movie, when he gets the job.
It's kind of like that film Unbreakable. It's like it's kind of in the title, like he is going to overcome his struggle.
It's like the what they say for Mission Impossible. I mean, it's kind of
it's possible for him if he's done it a couple times.
Exactly, yeah. Especially when it's the third and fourth time, it's not really impossible.
That's
anymore.
A great example. Those films are a great example, because I actually think they've gotten better as I think the newer ones are better than the older ones. And I was watching the newer one, and I'm like, in the middle of it, my hands are sweaty, my feet are sweaty, and like my heart's pounding, and I'm like, why am I so worked up? I know he's going to get out of this. How do I know? Because I've got 3 other films planned.
Yep.
And I know he's going to get out of this. Why am I so, but it's great filmmaking when you're able to, and that's when a good James Bond movie is really good, is when they're able, because you know James Bond's going to get out of it.
Yep.
But they're still able to make you invested in the story and the danger.
Yeah. But then, I mean, when it comes to movies like this, it's not about James Bond getting by or saving his ass. It's about, who does he care about? And if they build it up enough for us to care about what he cares about, and then we want that to survive as well. And again, coming back to this movie, it's becoming a stockbroker. Yes, it's a good ambition, but not a lot of people, get out of college saying I'm going to be a stockbroker.
Right.
It's a very niche kind of a profession, and it's a very niche kind of ambition. But then we care about it because we care about everything he cares about, and then we care about him becoming that.
It's that scene when he just sees just these happy people, and he's just like, he's struggling so much just to support his family. That's all he really wants in the film, is to just like make sure his son is living just a happy and carefree life.
Yeah.
And I think with Pursuit of Happyness, really the film is about, we know he's going to get out of it, but it's about the struggle and just watching what he goes through, and that he never gives up.
Right. And one of the things that I think helps an audience sympathize with a character is seeing the mistakes the character makes. Because this character makes a lot of mistakes.
True.
Most of them, I think, happen before the part of the film.
He trusted a hippie.
But he trusted a hippie. But it's like, I could see myself in that situation doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back on it, you go, okay, why the hell would he do that? But then you think, well, maybe I would have.
Yeah, but that's his naivety is what makes him endearing.
Yes.
The fact that he is so, and even the fact that the way this character is built, you can see him going through all of these troubles. You can see him going through every one of these challenges, but not at one point of time is he self-deprecating or is he wallowing in self-pity.
Absolutely. He keeps on working.
And working with a smile. Like even I'm probably the scene in the restroom.
Right.
Like that is it. I guess that is like the climax of the movie where it like builds in his pathetic condition, so to speak.
Very interesting way to put that.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, there is a level of it. It's pathetic but not in like a looking down on, but it's like it's a very sad situation.
Exactly.
And you feel pathetic in it, and like one would feel pathetic, but he just gets back up and does it.
There was a moment in this movie that completely reminded me of Life is Beautiful. And it's just before the bathroom scene when they're in the subway, and Will Smith's character is trying to create this world for his son to try and escape it. And
in fact, that's what I was going to talk about right now. Is that even before that scene gets into it while it is building from a very happy, imaginative, childlike place, and from that childlike place, it goes into such a dark. It takes a dark turn for us as the audience. Obviously, the child is shielded, the child is protected. He, covers his son's ears so that he doesn't hear the banging.
Right.
But we know where we've come from and where we are right now with that character. That is what, like, the way it is written, the way it, that scene plays into one another. I feel that is brilliance.
Right. How he's protective of his child's imagination.
Yeah.
And how he's protective of the child's childhood.
Yeah.
But and I have a question, and I want your opinions on it. Why does he at least in the context of the film, I think there's some other personal stuff that the film doesn't get into about that. He wasn't actually married to the girl that is in the. Yeah, there's some inaccuracies.
Yeah.
But in the world of the film, why do you think he desperately fights to keep his kid when he obviously can't take care of him in a fiscal responsible way? Other than, he loves him, but wouldn't it be more of a loving gesture to say maybe you should be more with your mother? Or
no,
it's a great point to me, actually. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense, but then it also establishes him as a character trait where it's right in the beginning where he says he is going to be with his son no matter what. Right. And it's not about him being magnanimous or him being, it's just he's just a simple guy with a simple desire. He wants to be with his son. He wants to take care of him no matter what, and he will go to any lengths to make that happen. Selfishness is still a part of him,
right?
And it comes out several times, like in the scene where they're running to the bus to reach that Glade Memorial, and he's like cutting in front of the lady to get onto the bus.
Yeah,
he is being a brute.
Well,
he doesn't care about anything else. He wants to get to Glade Memorial. He's going to get there at any cost.
Well, because he just does have. I feel like he has no other choice.
Right, a cruel world has made him cruel, and that's probably one of the themes.
I don't think it's even made him cruel. He's just not even thinking about. He's just got that one. Just one goal is to provide for his son.
Yeah, and we as audiences can separate from it and judge it as cruel. Mm-hmm. But being in a situation like that, you are just doing what you can see in front of you. I mean, I know of many times I have been, careless and mindless in trying to get what I want. Later you think about it, later you feel, oh God, I mean, I shouldn't have done that. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, we all have those moments.
Exactly. Yeah. And that is one of those moments. But then it is there within him. He is, even the fact that he wants to be a stockbroker, it's not like he is doing this purely from the fact that he wants to take care of his son or he wants to earn enough money to take care of the son. Mm-hmm. He has ambition. He has, desires. He wants to make it big. Yes, his son is a very strong, very important part of it, but that's not his only. It's like Walter White in Breaking Bad when in the end he admits, when his wife says, "Don't bullshit me about you doing this for us," and he's like, "Yeah, I didn't do it for you."
Oh, I don't know if I put him on the same level as Walter White though.
The point has been made.
I thought it is pretty. I don't.
It comes from the same.
Chris Gardner. There are some differences.
Yeah,
but I get your point.
Yes,
I feel like he's a little. I think he's a little more just selfless and sort of like. I think he definitely just wants to have a nice quiet life. He doesn't want to have to worry about money.
Right. So that's the thing. I think the movie toys with this question of does money create happiness? Well, obviously he's not happy because he doesn't have money. But does money in itself create happiness?
I think a certain amount. I think they did a study where it was like the amount of money that would like lead to you being like content. And I think at least in the UK, I think it was like £75,000. If you have that amount of money, then you'd be able to like feel comfortable.
I think there's a level of contentness. I think money definitely creates contentness.
Pursuit of contentness.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as you can pay the bills, you're happy.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
I mean, again, bills. My bill is going to be separate from yours and yours. It's everyone's bills are separate. So what amount of money? There is no specific amount of money. I mean, I don't know. I've not read the study in UK.
Sure.
But money in and of itself is absolutely overrated.
Right.
It's way too overrated as a thing to own, as a thing to possess, because it's. I mean, obviously, my understanding, my perception, money is just like a river. If it doesn't flow, there's no use of it.
Mm-hmm.
I like your analogy. It's funny.
Yeah.
I remember. I do remember that moment when Will's character gives that $5 bill to like his boss, because the boss is like, "Hey, I just need $5. Come on, it's $5."
Right, but does he do that out of selfishness or selflessness, or does he do it because he wants the job?
He wants the job.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's so painful for him because he knows he's probably going to go, like, that $5 means so much to him. That's
well, and I think you were kind of hitting on this a little bit. It's relative.
Yeah.
So money would make him happy, but it's like those stockbrokers who have all the money they need, they might not be happy with the money they have. So it's all relative to your plight.
Yeah.
And where you are in your life.
Also, I mean, even if you take Chris Gardner, the person, not, the character in the movie, which is obviously, shaded in a way for us to make us feel in a certain way. But it's not like, he got the job and he just became one of those stockbrokers. He went on to do other things. He went on to talk about it. He went on.
He set up his own practice.
Yeah.
He wrote a book. Yeah.
Exactly. So money in and of itself is not a full stop. It's just a kind of a milestone that you leave behind once you
financial
feel
security.
Once you can learn to change your focus to what it is you actually want. Because I mean, I feel if you want money, then your life is pretty the word nah it's a well, it might be offensive the word.
You've gotta have purpose along with money, I think.
Yeah.
There's well, I don't know, because if you're looking at this movie, does he want to be a stockbroker, or is this just the opportunity he sees?
Or is it just the Ferrari that attracts him to
right?
Think of that.
Yeah.
So because it's like, is he doing this for survival? And he's good at it. I mean, he's good at numbers.
Yeah.
And he obviously understands that. So is he doing it for survival, or is it something he really wants to do?
And just imagine, he didn't think of that for like at least 20 years of his adult life. Yeah. And the Ferrari is what made him remember that he was good at math. Mm-hmm. Like,
it's just looking at all those happy faces.
Right. Well, that's what is kind of interesting about this movie, is because I don't know if the movie set out to say that money creates happiness. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's usually not a typical Hollywood.
I think it's financial security.
Financial security. But I think that's what the movie says. At least this is what it says to me. It's just that it does create a certain level of happiness and contentness.
But that is I totally differ in that. I don't think money was in any way the focus of the movie. It was like a plot point. It was used as a plot device several times, but it was absolutely not the focus. Because even the title, it says it's the pursuit of happiness. It's an everlasting pursuit. There are moments when you feel that you've achieved it, but then even that is like holding sand. It's like as soon as you try to hold it, it's gone already. It's like a cycle that you got to be on. Just because he got that one in whatever number job, all of those other people who were screaming in the office also were one of those people.
Yeah, but they probably weren't living in the same conditions as he was.
Well, I mean, you never know.
That's true.
Well, and actually in real life, I think they stretched that in the movie. I don't think I think more than one actually got the job. I read somewhere that actually most of them got the job.
I don't know about that. I do know that he was paid during the internship.
Yeah, he did actually get a stipend.
Yeah. And also they said only 20 people got selected for the internship. It was everyone who applied got selected. But yeah, only a few people actually got the job.
But I love that. I don't mind.
But it's like any other. And that's a plot device.
It heightens the stakes.
I'd seen this movie before, and when he was first offered the internship, and he's considering not taking it because it doesn't offer him money then. Like I feel like that's when you see like, okay, this is a guy that he could do absolutely anything, but what he wants more is just to not struggle anymore. You know, he doesn't he doesn't want to have to live like or was it the like bone the hospital boxes? What are they? The medical kits?
Whatever.
Bone density scanner.
Bone density scanner.
Yeah.
What a strange.
Apparatus, right? Yeah.
It's bizarre, and it also heightens the stakes. Well, nobody wants this thing because they're basically useless and they're too much money. But I found this quote that I was trying to your point. He says, "Happiness is something you can only pursue." Mm-hmm. And I love this theme that he keeps bringing up, Thomas Jefferson, the Declaration of Independence, and I love how in the movie, because I'm a huge fan of Thomas Jefferson's writings and his helping him found the country, and I love how he kind of humanizes Jefferson in a way where he creates him as an artist. Because if you look at Jefferson's writings, they're beautiful. The Declaration of Independence is a beautiful document in terms of writing.
Right.
And that's he kind of shapes that in the voiceover a lot, but also this idea that why does it say pursuit of happiness and not like the guarantee of happiness?
Yeah.
Because the guarantee of happiness doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Or the equality of happiness doesn't exist.
Yeah. Or forget anything, just happiness. Like,
right.
It will. What was the line? It will afford citizens something like that. It's. He could have just used the word happiness, and that could be in and of itself that you can be happy.
Well, happiness is different for every other person.
Exactly.
Well.
So it's the pursuit of whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's.
So let's talk a little bit about the technical aspects of the movie. And one of the criticisms I have, maybe the only criticism I have, is they try a little bit, but I never really feel like we're in the 80s. I always kind of feel like we're in the early 2000s or 90s.
I see what you mean. I think it's only the whole Rubik's Cube phrase.
And
Rubik's Cube help pay for the movie? It's like
right.
It becomes like the thing.
Mm-hmm. And there's some things like they have Reagan on the TV and somebody's smoking in the office. I don't know, just never really had a vibe to it that it was in the 80s.
Well, no one was on their phones.
Right.
That is something.
That's true. And I hate bringing up criticisms when I don't have an idea how to fix it. But I don't know how to I don't know how I would have made it seem more 80s. I don't know. It's just I at one point I realized it's like I kind of feel like I'm in the 2000s with this. But I don't know. Maybe it was.
I'm trying to think of all those set pieces they.
Maybe it's just Will Smith. Like I know Will Smith was. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That's definitely a good point. I think most of his films tend to be quite modernized anyway, and he was like the guy in the 90s.
Right.
You think it was the way people were speaking in that? You think it was
Well, I don't know if they really spoke any differently from.
I see it as just kind of like New York melting pot, like international,
Except it's in San Francisco.
It's in San Francisco.
Yeah. Well, and maybe maybe they didn't set up enough. We were in terrible. It's 1980, so maybe that's it. Maybe they didn't have enough of the 70s bleed over into it, or the
bell-bottom pants. They didn't have a lot of bell-bottom pants. They didn't have a lot of
bell-bottoms because it wasn't full-fledged 80s yet, obviously, because 1980 is still. Technically 1970s.
Do we know the exact date now that we know the location?
I think it is 1980. I think it's set in 1980.
It is, yeah.
We're in maybe another way. The country was in terrible economic recession during 1980, and maybe that's another way they could have shown it.
Probably one of the scenes that, or not even a scene. It's just a shot that kind of showcased it was when they are standing in the line at Glade, and like a convertible car with a guy driving it and three women around him.
That's a good shot.
I
like walking on his own. Yeah.
It's a simple shot, but
it
just that one thing
itself.
It's very impactful.
And I think it's very simply directed. It's a simple story. I think it's simply directed. There's no.
Yeah, it's funny. I've never He's an Italian director. I don't think he's ever directed anything in English before
Gabriele Muccino?
Yeah.
Muccino?
Muccino.
Muccino.
Muccino. A resident Italian.
Ah.
Yeah, I mean, he also he directed 7 Pounds with Will Smith, and that's really the only.
But that is after
American. Yeah. Afterwards.
Apparently, Will Smith was the one who wanted him.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
To direct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he saw some of his other work and was really interested in him directing.
Apparently, like I again read another trivia about this where they had trouble communicating because he would only talk in Italian. And
Sean, you should keep this for the trivia game.
Oh.
Good to know, though.
Thank you.
Know. I just need to be quicker than him.
Let's see who forgets and who gets the question right.
Okay.
You keep the trivia. No, I'm just kidding. You share all the trivia.
Well, no, sometimes I have trivia that I want to share, but I don't want to say it because
Jasmine
it might come up later.
tripped all over my trivia game last week or the week before. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a simple story, a classic structure, and it's told simply, and the film doesn't really deviate from its main goal. The main goal is for this person to get a job to care for his family.
Yeah.
And everything that happens in the movie is an obstacle to that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no like side adventures or side anything. It's just one thing, and the movie goes after that. And each scene, up until the end, is a new obstacle to hurdle over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The focus never really deviates from Will Smith, like and his son. But honestly, well, we're just following him throughout the entire story.
Right.
It's not an easy. I don't think it's an easy role to play, either. I think you have to dig quite deep for that.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and I think, and I'm not a huge. We might lose followers over this, but I don't care. I'm not a huge Will Smith fan as an actor. I think he's a great personality, and I'm sure he's a good person.
We've just lost 80% of our
I know,
followers.
and he's funny, but as an actor, I'm not a huge fan of him. I think he's surface a lot of the time, pretty surface. There's not a lot of depth. But the caveat to that statement, anytime I say it, is Pursuit of Happyness. I think he's phenomenal in this movie.
True.
I think it was a well-deserved nomination.
If you see him in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and some of his more serious scenes, he is like he does have some incredible moments.
Yeah, and I love Fresh Prince, but it's just Will Smith is an attitude. Like he's Will Smith. Like there's a
I mean, to that point, I think more than an actor. Again, caveat being Pursuit of Happyness, he is an entertainer.
Yeah,
that is what he is.
He's a personality, and
exactly.
He plays upon his personality in his films.
And he plays it very well. He's got a very wide personality range, and he is able to tap into and showcase all of that. And even whether, the most famous scene in Fresh Prince, or all the goofiness and funny scenes before that, or and I frankly I didn't even know him. The only work I knew of Will Smith before I watched this movie was Bad Boys, Men in Black, and Independence Day. These,
but all those are like Will Smith
blockbusters.
Exactly.
Will Smith.
Yeah, and then I see this and I couldn't tell it was Will Smith. Yeah. Which is
this might get in the way for trivia, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Great.
The real Chris Gardner did not want Will Smith originally.
Oh, really? No, that's not part of it.
Awesome, great, yes.
Well, I saw, but he must have loved his portrayal.
Well,
afterwards.
it was Chris Gardner's daughter is the one that convinced him.
Well, I found a bunch of pictures of them together.
It was after watching Ali, when he played Muhammad Ali in the biopic.
Right.
Yeah. That Chris Gardner actually kind of leaned into this might be. I mean, I'd be quite flattered if Will. Well, maybe not me specifically.
I don't know.
That would be quite.
It'd be strange. I would have
a lot of prosthetics.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's like the Eddie Murphy sketch.
Yeah,
I would see.
But also, they'd have to pull some Lord of the Rings crap. Forced perspective.
It'd be fun. No, it could be interesting.
He's pretty tall, isn't he?
Yep.
And
I make a Gimli out of him.
You're not.
I'm medium-ish.
Ish.
That's what his mom.
I'm sitting down. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, he's and the bond between Will and Jaden is strong as to be expected because they're family. But Jaden really gives a performance that has a great deal of comfortability. To it.
It's my favorite Jaden Smith performance.
I don't know if what was he the one that did?
He was in the Karate Kid, yeah, and then.
Yes, that was.
And then there's the M. Night Shyamalan film that they reunited for, Father and Son.
Yeah.
Was it After Earth?
After Earth.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever. Was it Jaden that did the whip my hair back and forth, or was that the other Smith kid?
That was Will Smith's daughter.
The daughter. That's what I thought.
I have no idea what that is.
I can't believe I just pulled that into my podcast.
Trying to remember. Will Smith, I think. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything else. But he's good in this. And there's a great vulnerability to their relationship.
Yeah, again, I would mostly give the credit to the director. Like, it's the director that brings out the vulnerability in the way the scene is played out.
Right.
Because I mean, on a technical point, if you think about it, I mean, barring a few scenes, of course, most of it is totally behavioral. You know, whether a lot of, and of course, even oh my God, what is her name?
The woman,
the wife.
Thandie Newton.
Yes,
Thandie Newton.
Yes.
It's my fault. I should have had IMDb already pulled up.
Yep.
Let's cut that Fab.
Fab. I'm the one who cuts it.
Let's cut that Duke.
But yeah, anyways, Thandie Newton.
No, so like even some of the scenes between Will and Thandie Newton, like, it's so behavioral.
It's about living in the circumstance of which they are.
Exactly, yeah. And so it like flows so beautifully. It's
acting is doing in a lot of ways.
Being, I would
being and doing.
Let us know. Let us know in the comments below. Being or doing?
No, it's being and doing, because there's a great scene in The Apartment with Jack Lemmon, where he comes back to his apartment and all he's doing is just his nightly routine, and it's amazing because he's making pasta, and he's turning on TV, and he like says nothing except he talks to himself. But it's those behavioral exercises we do in acting classes.
Yeah,
but you're right. There is a certain level of them just living in their circumstance. The comfortability of them in those circumstances is very well attributed to the director.
Yeah,
and his creating of those circumstances for the actors, and the actors. It's a good reflection on the actors that they're able to carry out those things in such a truthful way.
I was a bit disappointed not to see Thandie Newton's character come back, because I really kind of enjoyed the relationship between them. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's a pretty long movie.
And I don't know how true it is. I don't know what... Like I said, I think the characters based on might be the girlfriend. Some of it I think is taken from the wife.
They weren't married.
Maybe that's why they didn't want to keep it in as much.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it's not... She is, again, serving a purpose for his story.
But I guess what confused me was just like, not... Like, she just left the son as well.
Yep. Because that is what makes the story, the stakes higher, right? That is what makes us as an audience feel more heartbroken for him. It's at the end of the day, it is a movie, right. So everything that is crafted is keeping in mind what we are gonna feel about it, and definitely divorcing them and making her go to New York is a much more stronger choice than anything else.
Right. It certainly raises the stakes.
You say New York?
She goes to New York.
Did you watch the movie?
I swear, seriously.
It's set in New York.
It reminded me of.
Well, that's when I will say that when I first started watching, I wrote down. I said, "Oh, it sets up New York really well."
Right.
And then it says something about San Francisco.
Well, there's a point. There's a point to that. I mean, I guess. Honestly, like, how many movies about stockbrokers have like the main characters in an actual... Sorry?
What
do you say? Okay. How many movies do we know set in the 80s about stockbrokers? Do they show them in an actual like positive light? Like, there's not like... I don't think there's a bad person
But
in this whole movie.
Yeah,
really.
I guess. I mean, when you say stockbrokers, you will immediately think New York because of
Right.
Yeah, I think
Wall
Gordon
Street.
Gordon Gekko.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Wall Street and everything. Yeah.
Oliver Stone.
It's just when you say Oliver, it sounds like me.
No, I said Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone, he's great. He's the other Oliver.
Some could say that. It's good.
Mhm.
Oh, what was I've lost.
You lost yourself?
Yeah, I lost myself.
Do you think Will Smith, I don't know how much you know about your Oscar history, but do you think Will Smith should have gotten the Oscar? I think he definitely deserved it.
Who else was up that year?
Yeah.
Was it Javier Bardem?
No.
2006,
do either one of you know who won?
I'm trying to remember the year.
Is this part of trivia?
It can be. Whoever gets
God,
it
no.
gets ahead. It's 2006.
6.
I thought it was 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Should have gone with my gut.
2006.
Matthew McConaughey.
No, that's way later.
That's
Forrest Whitaker.
2013.
Yeah, Jesus, yeah, good job.
For what?
Last King of Scotland.
I haven't seen
that
It's an
either, but-
incredible, great movie. James
Yeah.
McAvoy's in that too.
Yeah, but I mean, he was up against Peter O'Toole and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Peter
Ryan
O'Toole, he
Gosling.
never won. He had like
Oh,
8
Leonardo for
nominations.
The Departed.
Yeah.
Aviator.
No, Blood Diamond.
But, oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
just-
both, I
wow.
think. Oh, so I think he was nominated for supporting as well.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Look it up.
He was.
Why do I have to do all the work? But
Having a laptop
yeah,
in
Peter
front of you.
O'Toole. That hurts me sometimes.
Yeah.
To think about that. One of our greatest actors of all time never won an Oscar.
Honestly, for Will Smith as well, it's like, I don't think he's going to get another chance to be.
Maybe he's kind of like Eddie
Depends what he
Murphy.
does.
He's had a few chances in his life, and
Yeah, but I mean, now anyway, he's boycotting the Oscar, right?
who?
Is he?
Which one?
Will Smith, like he's been boycotting it since the past 3 years, right?
Well, I know he was boycotted at some point. I think it was Collateral came out.
yeah.
He didn't get nominated.
Yeah.
And he was.
Yeah.
That always interests me a lot because I believe he gave a Nigerian, I believe it was, or African dialect
Mhm.
for the character, but the character's actual like voice in real life is pretty American,
Yeah.
which is that's a very interesting choice.
I actually watched that movie.
Yeah.
Like after all the controversy, I wanted to see what it's all about. Yeah, he's lucky that he has Pursuit of Happyness.
That's what I remember when it came out, and it was the controversy, and I was like, this movie was critically bombed, and the trailer looked not great, and I was just like, dude, are you making a stink because it's bad?
Let's just say Ms. Bohannon wouldn't be too pleased with it,
Ms. Bohannon's one of our teachers.
and who
Former
someone
teachers.
who vehemently despises indicating. So
As you just did to the
Yeah,
camera.
and that's that.
You know, like I feel like Will Smith could have had the same sort of like Oscar story as Sandra Bullock, because Sandra Bullock won for The Blind Side, which was seen as like a completely different type of film for her. She's always been seen as like the romantic
I
comedy
like that movie.
girl. Yeah, it's a good movie. But like with Will Smith, he was always seen as kind of like the blockbuster, like entertainer, like the cool guy.
Mhm.
So this Ali was the real change before that, but this I think really shows like Will Smith in a different light, and that he is a great actor. Maybe like I think the films he chooses a lot of the time don't always get to really showcase that as much as his personality.
Mhm.
Like I'm the one of few people that actually liked him in Aladdin. I feel.
I didn't see Aladdin. I don't see Disney. Because I am Disney.
I have watched it.
Let's bring that back.
But I'm glad you realized you were one of the few.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the remakes, and I'm trying to make a point to not see any of them, just because I hate remakes.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hate Disney though, because you
'Cause
are
I am
Disney.
Okay, so what is the message of the movie?
The message. Ooh, okay.
Well, this question goes out to you too.
Never-
Open-form discussion.
Never give up. Never give up. It's
But that kind of feeds into my other question: is that why does Chris make it if he never gives up, but nobody else ever gives up?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like a. Do you think it's true? If you never give up, you'll find success.
Yeah, I mean
That was just a
you can
criticism
take
of it,
you
but,
you can take so many lessons from it. You know, there are many moments in it which are really deeply inspiring to watch. Like, I mean, the way he is just constantly, he knows or at least he describes himself as being the butt of the jokes in his class, and he's just pulling favors for everyone, being the nice guy, getting coffee and donuts for his instructor. But obviously, the movie is self-narrated, and everyone feels that way. Everyone is their own victim and their own hero in their own story.
Right.
So, and the movie is set up in that way. So, there is a lot that he is trying to, Chris is trying to showcase through his life.
Mm-hmm.
And it does get it can get preachy sometimes. In the like, for example, there's this running joke where I come from, like, every father always tells the kids, when I was young, I came with like $5 in my pocket. Right. I did not have anything.
That's kind of a universal.
I had to like swim 20 miles to go to school every day. I did not have all the luxuries that you have.
But, I had to carry cement blocks up the hill. Yeah.
So there is the sense of that even in this movie.
I feel like if Chris Gardner's like kids were ever giving him issues, he's like, let's just put it on Pursuit of Happyness.
Let me just show you what the crap I have to go through, you little shit.
You have 2 hours in the day.
Yeah. But I think, I do see your point. It does get that. And I think you're right, too. I think that the message of it is to never give up and to pursue your happiness.
Just to go, I think I said this a little earlier, but I want to explore it more. Just the moment when he decides to take the internship that is unpaid, at that moment in time, Chris could go for a simpler. He could go for a smaller job, but he chooses to aim higher. He's taking that risk.
Yeah,
and like I think there are moments when he could have easily taken up another job.
Yep,
right. Like a much smaller, like minimum wage type. But he's you know what? He's not just thinking about his son. He's got dreams.
Yeah,
and I would like to read more about why he took that job. Maybe it was because of the recession.
Well,
maybe
it was paid as well. It was paid.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe he couldn't find another job. I don't know. But
no, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. But backtracking to technical questions really quick. We talk a lot about narration and how it can hurt a movie or benefit a movie. I actually don't think it really benefits all that much here. I think in some ways it does. But a lot of the ways, that's when it kind of, I think, falls into the Will Smith tropes. Like, I hear the majority of the movie, I'm like, this is not anything I've seen Will Smith ever do before. He's kind of breaking his Will Smith mold. But when the narration comes back, I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit Will Smithy. It's like a little bit of the Fresh Prince and that goofiness.
They're trying to have quite a bit of fun, like
right.
Like especially at the beginning, they're trying to make it a little bit more lighthearted because it's gonna get so serious.
Right.
And
I think they do a good job of it with the dialogue in a lot of places. Yeah. I just think the narration is in the way sometimes. Right. Thoughts, comments?
We've spoken before. I'm not the biggest fan of narration in films in general. I'd rather just kind of see and like make out for myself what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, and also it counterpoints the first rule of script writing, which is show, don't tell.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but again, that is if they would have just stopped to show all of that the movie would have been like 5 hours long. So they just use that as a
right. But like there's the point where it freezes and says, "This is me running." And I'm like, yeah, I can see you running. Or like, this is me riding the bus. I'm like, yeah, you're about to get on the bus. And then it's just delivered in that Will Smith way, and I'm just like, yeah.
I think it takes a little longer to get going than it needs to. I think it could have started. I think it could have started a bit later on.
That is also a nod to the people who read the book, because those would be the titles of the chapters.
Right, and that's
so maybe it's a nod to them.
I think we're going to dive a little bit more into this specific thing in our next episode with the movie we're reviewing is also based on a book. That movie feels like it's a novel, and this movie does not feel like it's a novel. And so with your point, I think if it's a nod to people who read the book, I think you don't use it. You don't. I don't. That's just my personal belief, and if I was directing the movie, I probably wouldn't have. But yeah, and it doesn't. I don't think it kills the movie.
It's an autobiography, right? It's kind of written. I think they're kind of structured a little differently. As well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I don't think it kills it or anything. It doesn't really lower my rating of the film. It's just something like
I don't think. There are other narrations that bother me more. I could do a top 10 list on that.
I'm gonna write that down because we should do that.
Yeah, Ollie's top 10 most hated
narration fails.
Well, that's
so okay. So what's your favorite line and scene? They could be one and the same or two different parts.
Line in a scene. Huh.
This question is coming at you too, so think.
I'm good.
All right, we'll go ahead and go while he's thinking.
Okay.
I mean,
do you want to go? I could go.
It's just a not listening tape.
Go.
You sure?
Okay. I am worried you're gonna be taking my line, but fine.
It probably is. My favorite line is Will Smith's just been in prison. Like he's in his plain clothes and he has to go in for his interview, and then he's just completely honest. And he just tells it like it is, and because of that honesty, they still respect him. But it's still kind of on the fence. And then the boss asks him, if you were interviewing someone and they came in dressed in like dressed with like no shirt on, what would you tell them? And he said, well, he must be wearing a real nice pair of pants.
Yeah.
That's just
it's perfect.
And
the way it's brought up at the end too is great. It's hilarious.
It's absolutely perfect casting right there for him.
Yeah,
because Will Smith, what he does best, I think, is he's an incredibly likable guy. He's someone like you want to root for.
Yeah, and I mean he's great at the relentless pursuit and almost everything he does. He's really great at fighting for what he wants.
Yeah.
Favorite? I'm assuming that's kind of your favorite scene too. So
it's actually the Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube
in
the car is my favorite scene, because it's like that. I feel like he's got so much on the line trying to impress this guy, and then the taxi stops and he's like, "I've got to get this." And again, with the relentlessness and the determination, I feel like it's encapsulated in that scene. And just honestly,
and it's a nail-biting scene. Honestly,
the Foley that was used for that, I don't know. Every like turn of the Rubik's Cube, I'm just like, oh my god, this is how is a Rubik's Cube so intense right now?
Do you do sound?
I do sound.
Oh, interesting. Line and scene.
The basketball.
No, you took mine.
Sorry.
No, you're allowed to have a seat.
I thought he was going to take mine, but then basketball. The fact that he first, tells his son that you're not going to amount to much, and then he catches himself.
Right. The next thing he says is a reflection of what he just.
Yeah. I feel, and probably obviously this might be my interpretation of that, he told his son what he has always been told,
right?
And then the look on his son's face changes him to a determined person. That I really love that transition.
Yeah. Don't ever let someone tell you can't do something, not even me.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most important scene for the whole movie. I think it's
my favorite, and that's my favorite line.
That might be the message right there of the whole film.
I'd buy that.
Yeah.
I'd buy that in a Cracker Jack box. All right. Let's go on to our trivia game.
Okay.
All right then.
So, let's see. Rashawn versus Ollie. Okay, so in the film, where does he say he grew up?
New York.
No, Philadelphia.
Born and raised.
No.
Wait, Pennsylvania.
That's Fresh Prince.
No.
10-gallon hat. Where was
California.
he? Kentucky? No, Louisiana.
God.
Louisiana.
I'm giving myself the point just because it
Where
took
is
you.
it?
Louisiana.
I see that. I was right.
It took you way too
10-gallon
long.
hat.
Yeah. Now I don't know if his father was from Monroe, which I actually know where
he's
it
from
is.
Louisiana.
In the film, it does.
I didn't even
He
know
said
they
not
were in-
from, but he says he grew up in Louisiana.
Mhm.
Because I think he's from I know he's from Milwaukee.
Well, I didn't even know they were in San Francisco. So.
Yeah, where was Chris born?
Are you serious? Philadelphia.
I'm gonna win this.
I don't know. I can't think.
Come on, Mr. I researched the film and couldn't do this 2 weeks ago.
New York.
No, it's Milwaukee. I almost just said it.
Yeah.
Wisconsin. It's in Wisconsin. All right, true or false?
I don't even know where that is on the map. Okay.
America.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. True or false? The homeless people were real homeless people being paid as extras.
True.
True.
Yeah, he got it first.
I did.
I have a buzzer next
True or
time.
false? Speed cubing champions were hired to train
True.
Will Smith. Yeah,
Ha!
it's true.
Oh, okay. I was like,
just not getting it.
no, I didn't understand what you said. It sounded
Speed
like.
cubing.
See, I thought you said Cuban, like speed Cuban champions. I'm like Cuban.
Yeah,
like,
we're rolling
what?
other. See, Walter White reference.
There we go.
There we go.
You found the connection.
Yeah.
Oh, BKB.
Let's keep going.
All right, couple more questions.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
True or false? Gabriele Muccino spoke in Italian during most of filming.
True.
C'est vrai. True.
Well, he got it first. Well, that's only according to Kurt Fuller, who played
Is he your neighbor?
played Walter.
Like,
I just
surrounded
found it online.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, maybe he is my neighbor. Okay, all right, last question.
Okay.
And because you're winning, this is all or nothing.
Okay.
Great.
That only happens when you're winning.
That's fine.
Who do they pass on the hill at the very end of the movie?
Chris Gardner, of course. I mean, come on.
And ding, ding, ding.
I'm
I
so
win.
surprised that you didn't talk about the like the casting of like his kind of like teacher boss in the stockbroker building. It's Dan Castellaneta who's Homer Simpson.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And that's so strange.
Yeah.
That was so strange to me. I'm like, oh, he's in a serious role. Like,
Yeah.
Like I think he was in Fantastic Four, but that always was like,
Yeah.
what are you doing, Homer?
So here's the audience question. Answer in the comments. After Chris solves the Rubik's Cube and he's in the taxi with the firm guy gets out of the taxi. What is the movie advertised on top of the taxi? The movie came out in 1980. Somebody answer it. This is the audience question. We'll answer it once we end the cameras.
I don't remember.
I do.
I enjoy it. I think it's Will Smith's best acting. Yeah. That's it.
That's fair. Yeah, those are the
Thank you
last
for
thoughts.
watching.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Straight from the heart, like at the movie, till the screen goes dark.